Alright, how's it going?
How you doing? You good?
Yeah, not bad, thanks.
So what is the idea of Mauve then?
Well, I would say it's a more concentrated form of everything I've done so far. I think, for example, you know, there's some emotional cuts and some hype cuts as well. Sometimes music is cathartic, so I'm working through something. Other times it's just some lit shit, you know what I mean? So
Who is Mauve then exactly?
So I mean my past roots, I come from more of a rock and indie setting with like a blues bass. I would say Mauve actually comes from something like Tame Impala, so that's obviously Kevin Parker doing the whole project himself. It's one guy, so that really interested me. I wanted to just be called Windows, and then I actually searched and there was a jazz band from, I don't know, the 1950s or something, so I didn't want to get cease and desisted or anything, you know, so that's where Mauve Windows comes from. And also I think Mauve is the umbrella term, it's the moniker for everything else I want to do. So Lil Pilko, things like that, they all come under the moniker of Mauve. It's the umbrella term, yeah.
So then, how would you characterize the sound of this new project?
I think most importantly, I've solidified the sound and what I want to do. I don't think I've fully got where I need to get. I'm not all the way there yet, but I think for sure it's a crystallization of the sound. I feel like a lot of people want to sound the same these days, and whereas to me it's really important to know that in the first lines of the song, you know I'm from Manchester, you know, with the slang I use, the way I talk, like, you know what I mean, that's very important. I don't like the fakeness of people who come from where I come from, or you know, the UK or anything like that, and they don't keep their accent. I think you need to sound how you sound, and putting an act on is just hella weird.
On the back of that last question then, it does seem like there's a lot of stylistic variation on this album. Why is that?
Well, I would say flow of the album is very important to me, because in the modern age, especially with people doing playlists and stuff like that, and not really listening to albums through, I still take the classical approach. So I want people to listen to the full album, and I want it to make sense narratively as well throughout the whole of it, you know. Another reason is I don't really like labels, so I'm inspired by the 1975, for example. Take their album Notes on a Conditional Form. They have tech tunes right next to garage tunes, commercialized pop, that kind of thing. It shows that it doesn't matter these days. And also, I mean, if you look at my first two EPs, I mean, I was doing rock and stuff on there, and there was hip-hop influence there too. So like the three songs I think you're talking about, those are more boom bap songs. So the first and the middle and the last one, they're kind of checkpoints to the album, and I think that's important too, because you had a lot of variation and contrast between them, and it's the actors almost phases, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, so that's really interesting then. So what would you say you're trying to achieve with this body of work?
I'm trying to get more in touch with myself, and I think with this album I achieved that. I want to show people that hip-hop can be made by anyone, music can be made by anyone. It doesn't matter who you are or where you come from, that kind of thing. It doesn't all have to be the same, you know, no cap on the track. So that means you tell your truthful stories, you know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to tell stories that didn't happen, do you know what I'm saying? That kind of thing. It's situations that are just made up, which is what a lot of people do these days. Like, I'm not trying to do that, you know?
With that being said then, who inspired you the most or influenced your creative process on this album?
Well, I mean, musically, we're talking Jack White, Arctic Monkeys, Lil Peep, Lil Tracy, Blade, Young Lee. Artistically, someone like Nicholas Amore, Caravaggio, HR Giga, that kind of thing. I mean, directorially, you've got Kubrick, Tarantino, Scorsese. Philosophically and writers, I mean, Dostoevsky, Nietzsche, Hemingway, Shakespeare. Physically, I mean, Goku, Son Goku is hella crazy. Kurosaki, Ichigo, Hanmabaki, most importantly, I think. Other than that, I mean, my fam and my friends always inspire me, because I keep good ones around me, that kind of thing. And lastly, like, straight up God, you know.
It's safe to say you've got a lot of influences going on.
For sure.
In terms of the macro view then, what is the difference in this collection to the rest of your discography? Like, what is the bigger picture in all of this?
I mean, I would say it's a more distilled and focused vision. I think it's not just a set of songs. I think my other albums perhaps maybe felt like that, or at least in retrospect, whereas this album feels you can't take away any songs, you can't add any songs. I think each song itself stands on its own and also coalesces within the set of songs really well. And yeah, I've never been prouder or felt like this when it comes to an album. So
what motivates you then to keep going?
So I'd probably say, I mean, my own creativity and insanity, you know, I don't really ever stop. So Mauve is literally in the works as we speak, like ready to be released, and I'm still figuring out like the next projects, you know. Also the haters who just want to like put you down, you know what I mean? And I just won't allow them to do that, and I don't think they realise that the hate motivates me, and it genuinely like I just don't care, and like I use that as a positive because they're just throwing negativity at me, and I'm gonna use that in a positive way. Yeah, so they're never gonna win. Do you know what I'm saying?
So we want to know then, when were these songs recorded? Like, what is the chronology here?
I mean, some of them I think were conceptualized in my gap year, so we're talking years back, but those would be like the beats, whereas the majority of it was done, I'd say maybe some of it was done in uni, so we're talking maybe 2022, 23, literally up until this year, you know.
Up until recently then?
Yeah. You know, there's different eras of me in there, and I think that also points to what I want to achieve with it, you know. Like kind of how the RG's video was a collage. I like the idea of a collage, the sort of collection of a lot of different times into one thing, you know.
Yeah, so what is a typical recording session then for you?
Well, it can be very different. I mean, like I was saying before, when I was in uni, I mean, I got a chance to record in state-of-the-art studios. You're talking, you know, speakers bigger than my head, you know what I'm saying? So there was also a time before and after that, so I've always been a DIY musician. Think something like Mac DeMarco, who he used to self-engineer himself and he used to produce himself and things like that. It's like when I was with my producers and my friends, we'd post up anywhere, do you know what I mean? Like wherever we could get a space or things like that. It's more about passion and energy over finesse and things like that. You know, to go off on a tangent, you know, one time we were literally in the studio making a song, and I'm showing my bro these lyrics. We ended up getting pissed and then went back to mine, and we're literally in the living room, right, of one of my houses. One of my housemates comes in while I've got a towel over my head recording the vocals, because obviously I saw this video of like vocal isolations, and obviously, but she didn't know any of that. So she comes in and she's saying, "What the fuck are you two doing?" And obviously I'm pissed as well. So I just like come out of the thing. I'm like, we're just recording, obviously, you know what I mean? So I mean that's kind of a good summary of like the way I record. It doesn't really matter.
So quite a variation there.
Yeah.
So just to end it off then, just simply, what is next for you?
Well, I've got a number of things coming, obviously, with the Mauve album and things like that, you know, music videos. I like to keep things under wraps. I've kind of shown you a couple of things that, if you were paying attention, you know, like, that you would be able to figure out. I mean, I've got things in the vault, and Mauve has opened the door for sure for things like monikers and that. So, you know, I've got things already coming up, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like, I've got this song called Blue Shell, and there's some lyrics in that said, you know, I'm so ahead, I've got to catch up to myself. And at the time I was kind of thinking it was one of those things like from Pulp Fiction, like Jules said with his Bible quote, it was just some cold shit he wanted to tell a motherfucker, and that's what I was doing at the time. But it ended up being a sort of prophecy, because I've got so much shit that like I cannot rest, like, because I've got so much shit that I need to do, that like when this album comes out, that is for sure not the end of it. Like I'm still working, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of thing.
Nice to meet you, bro.
Alright, yeah, nice one. Yeah, appreciate it.
No worries.
Sound.